Hi everybody, welcome to session 3 in our Reset Your Business webinars. We're really lucky to have had these webinars. It's been funded by Local Buying Foundation, their Big Futures funding. So it's been really exciting for us to be able to put these on. I know that we haven't had too many people on the live sessions, however, we've had an amazing amount of people watching it in their own time, so probably in the evenings or whenever suits. So it's a bit tricky trying to work out what time to actually have them, so it's good that you're viewing them. I just wanted to quickly let you know that there'll be quite a comprehensive mentoring series after this, and I'll leave Judy from Shift to let you know all about that later. So enjoy the session, and I'll hand over to Judy.
Okay, thanks very much for that, Chrissy. Hi again, everyone. This is part 3 of our webinar series, Reset for Success. And again, I've brought Gus with me. So for those of you who joined us last week, Gus is going on to part 2 of the financial analysis side of everything. So yes, later on in this, we are going to talk a little bit about the mentoring package that Chrissy has got. And thank you very much to Mackay Tourism, and thank you to the Local Buying Foundation. So a little bit about Gus. For those of you who didn't join us last week, he is our finance and business analyst.
Thank you, Judy.
Financial guru and my business partner, and a pretty cool guy all around. So you'll probably see from his background there, he has quite a large background. Can you just quickly talk us through it again? Because we need to understand why we should listen to you today, Gus.
Sure, Judy. Accountant by trade, professional background, multiple owner of small, medium businesses, venture capital background as well, and help multiple businesses as a consultant and analyst over a length of time. And today we're talking about strategy, and that goes hand in hand. Really passionate about the strategy side of business, and really at the end of the day, after all the technical things in your business is done, it all comes down to strategy. Business owners love talking strategy. Where's the business going? What's it doing? How are we going to get there? How can we thrive? That's what I'm all about.
So can I ask a little bit about your passion? Because for most of us, when we go to see a financial advisor, an accountant or anything like that, we're not really talking high level strategy very often. So why do you love strategy? I can already see your eyes twinkling and smiling already. Talk us through your passion behind why you end up in the strategy realm so many times.
I love strategy because there's never a ceiling on strategy. You can always do better. There's always ways to look at things differently, or try different things, or test different strategies, go about it in a different way. And I really get excited by helping, especially small and medium-sized businesses, really just I suppose putting it in a simple manner and helping them understand where their opportunities are. Opportunity is the key word, and that feeds into strategy.
Okay, and I know from historical events past and previous that when we talk strategy with Gus, those sessions can go on for hours and hours, and they're full of information for whoever we involve in those sessions. Okay, so last week, quickly, we did financial first aid, which was basically business 101.
Yep.
Going through an event like this. So we talked a lot about debtors, creditors, stuff like that. This week, as we said, it's about strategy, it's about looking forward, it's about grasping opportunities. So we titled this one Survive and Thrive, and we're going to head into it now. So the things that Gus is going to be discussing over the next half an hour is how to take the market share, creating a moat, which we're going to ask him what that means in a little minute, setting up for the future, consolidating and protecting. So I'm going to hand it over to you now, Gus, and you're going to kick us off with revenue.
Thank you, Judy, and a quick thank you to Chrissy, Mackay Tourism and the Buying Foundation before we start. Revenue. So, look, today's session we're going to try and get into how can we thrive in this COVID environment? Not just survive, but actually thrive. How can we get ahead? How can we play to our current advantages? And how can we move forward? How can we get ahead of our competitors? So first thing we're going to talk about is revenue. Have have the businesses out there, have you thought about other potential revenue streams that are coming out of this COVID-19 time for your business? Have you sought feedback from your current customers, past customers, employees, other stakeholders, suppliers? Is there a demand out there in this COVID environment for something similar to your product? Can you, I suppose, take advantage of the new normal in this COVID world? And on to point two, is there something, can you pivot your product to be more attractive in this COVID environment? I mean, for tourism operators out there, obviously state borders are closed. How can you pivot your product or your service to be more attractive to the domestic market or in-state or localised? Is there something you can add on to make your service or your product more attractive?
Okay, so I'm going to stop right there.
Yes, Judy.
Because we hear the word pivot everywhere. Even down at the corner store, they're talking about pivoting. So
Sure.
Please expand on why this new buzz term pivot is around and why we should do it.
Okay, so look, pivoting is, I suppose, you've come to a point in your journey where you may need to turn off the road like a fork from your previous goal, given this new environment. So I suppose the to use a term, the slate's been wiped clean a little bit, and there's going to be a new normal. So we need to change the focus of our businesses to point in the direction that's going to be more favourable for us in the future.
Yep. Lovely explanation.
Thank you, Judy.
sorry, I interrupted. So we're on to repurposing your product or service.
Absolutely. So look, it follows on from pivoting. Can your product or service be 90% the same, but only change 10% of it just to appeal, I suppose, from a marketing perspective to your customers, or a slight change in your customers? Is there a demographic out there that you can now target using your existing product or service, but just tweaking a few things to be more attractive to them?
Mm-hmm. Okay, and I just wanted to flesh out a little bit more. When you talked about potential new revenue streams and you're talking about getting feedback, who should we go for feedback specifically? Like, should we only go to trusted sources, or are they going to have an emotional connection with our product and not give us the honest feedback? Like, where would you start going for really good feedback to find out how we could be looking for a new revenue source?
Absolutely. Across the board is the answer. Any stakeholders in your business. So stakeholders are anyone who knows your product, their customers, their employees, their past employees, even competitors, suppliers, local government. Mackay Tourism is a great one. CCIQ. There's lots out there. Nearly anyone, and it's great speaking to other people out there about your product and getting their feedback, because who knows what they might think is a great thing for your business or your product that you may not have even considered. And it's really difficult being a business owner because you're so focused on your own business. It's how often do you get third-party feedback or throw around ideas with third parties? So as many people as you can is the answer to your question, Judy.
Yeah, cool. Fair enough. Yeah, we could go on about that for a long time, but we better move on. So after revenue, we're looking at maximising assistance in the area.
Absolutely. So this is following on from last week's financial first aid session. The first one here, utilising the JobKeeper, loan deferrals, electricity rebates. There's a whole swag of other items, and it's really just making sure that you have explored all avenues in your business to maximise assistance for yourself. I imagine most people out there are very well aware of the JobKeeper. Some people deferred their loans, but how far have you gone down into, rebates and other, leading on to the next point, other grants that are available? If people, there is many grants out there, business.queensland.gov.au. There's a whole range of items on there. You might be surprised at some of these are very obtainable, and they're designed to be obtainable for the small and medium-sized business. So please go out and have a look. And then we get into the grants. Are there grants there to upskill your staff? That's a very easy one. I mean, your staff might have some idle time right now? Are there grants out there that can specifically skill them up to suit your business? And on to the next point about using loans. I don't recommend getting a loan just for the sake of getting a loan, but if you can get a loan that has low interest rates or a 6 month deferral, such as some of the government loans right now, can that help improve your business or reposition your business, protect your business against your competitors, or even grow your business? I mean, is it worth getting a loan, and can you buy new equipment, or can you get a new premise, something that's going to protect your position or improve your position, or even go out and M&A, there is mergers and acquisitions. Can you go out and buy one of your competitors or merge with one of your competitors and really take this opportunity now in a changed world as a catalyst to really strengthen your business and take it forward?
So you're really talking about leveraging this opportunity.
Absolutely.
So out of a negative, creating a very big positive.
Absolutely. That's what this webinar is all about. It's about seeing the opportunity and looking forward. And if your competitors are not necessarily thinking this way, this is an amazing opportunity for you to, while the chips are down per se, to really go, right, we're going to take a 1, 3, 5, 10-year view and take advantage of these loans now and use them to our advantage the best we can.
I'm going to put a disclaimer in there too, everyone. So don't forget, last week's webinar was about those who are just keeping their heads above water. We're not saying for you to go ahead and do any of these things if you're really struggling from week to week. This is if you're in quite a solid position. You're able to close the doors and just maintain the norm, I think is what
that's exactly what we're saying. Exactly what we're saying. And then, so my last point there quickly, can you combine some of these grants or loans together to get a maximum result? As in, can you get a loan to buy a new piece of equipment and then get the instant tax write-off? So in theory, something that you couldn't have previously done, but now because of COVID, you've got an opportunity to buy that piece of equipment and then move your business forward.
Leverage the opportunities. Yeah. Okay, cool. And I'll just point out to everyone, you've also got a chat bar down below on your screen. Feel free to post as many questions as possible. We have our producer standing by, Alicia, and she'll be answering some of your questions. Or if we see the questions ourselves, we'll try answering them while we go. Okay, we're going to move on to commercial leases. That was a big intake of air.
It is. It's a tough topic at the moment, the commercial leases, and obviously there's people on each side of the negotiation. We had a good question last week from Taz. I suppose what we're saying here is we're looking at the opportunity, either as you being the freeholder or the leaseholder. Is there an opportunity now to negotiate favourable terms for you? And that can include, are there fit-out incentives? Can you add an option term or a more favourable option term onto your lease? And then looking onto the second point there, as a leaseholder, are there better sites now available? Maybe there's an opportunity now to move your business into a shopping centre because it's been vacated because another business has gone by the wayside. And on the flip side, if you're a freeholder, is there an opportunity now to find a tenant that may be more suited to your space or more amicable to longer terms or going to be better suited for your environment? So really, again, think about critical thinking is what it is. Think about how you can improve your situation through your lease.
Yeah, cool. And I know from hearing around town, there's quite a few people looking at those options right now because it's a smart thing to do. Okay, we're going to dig deeply a little bit further into competitors and your competition and once again, leveraging this opportunity that we have.
Thank you, Judy. Has anyone heard the term swimming with no clothes on?
No, I had not until I read your slides. So I'd like to know a little bit more about that.
It's a classic from the man Warren Buffett. It's when the tide goes out, people are found out with no clothes on. So if your business has been cutting corners or you haven't been doing things efficiently or it isn't in a strong position for whatever reason, now those businesses have been found out. So
your shortcuts have been exposed.
Exactly. So hopefully your business is not in that position. So on the flip side, hopefully you've built a strong business over time coming up to this COVID environment, and hopefully you've got your clothes on, and now is the opportunity to take advantage of that. And we'll talk about your competitors. Let's understand, where are you in 6 months' time? Where are you in 12 months' time? Think about where your competitors are going to be in 6, 12, 1 year, 5 years. And how can you position yourself to take advantage of any competitor's weakness or strengthen your own position? And we talked earlier about creating a moat at the start. So when we talk about creating a moat, we're talking about protecting your position. So think of yourself as a castle or a castle, and the stronger or the bigger your moat is around it, the more you can protect your business, the greater margins you can charge, and the stronger your business is. So think about it in that regard. We spoke briefly before about buying competitors. There might be an opportunity, not applicable to everyone. And then maybe there's a situation where a vacuum's being created in your competitive space through your competitors not surviving through COVID. What does that look like? If you had 5 competitors and now you've only got 3, there's a vacuum created there because they've removed themselves, and now there's customers there that need to find a home. How do you position yourself best in this vacuumed environment?
So just quickly, what would you do? Because that's an opportunity just sitting there waiting to be grabbed. If you've got now a target market that's got no home,
Absolutely.
How do we go grab them?
Hopefully you've already got a marketing strategy and a marketing plan, but now it might be time to fine tune that into that, really target into your competitors' customers. Hopefully you know a little bit about your competitors' customers and what previously attracted them to those products or services. So hone your marketing message, whether that's social media or direct or through many other methods. It really is an opportunity to get these people. Some of these customers that might have been with your competitors for a number of years. Mm-hmm. Make them comfortable. Let them know why your business is great, and get them over. Well, really, any way you can is the answer, Judy.
What about buying databases?
You can buy databases, absolutely. And some of you may have already used that marketing strategy to date. And in this environment, absolutely. It's part of a full marketing campaign. And look, it suits some industries more than others, but I would investigate it, Judy, if you haven't already.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I suppose this comes down to, in a nutshell, having your ear to the ground, doesn't it, really?
Absolutely.
Hearing what's about to happen, hearing what has happened, being the first on the front foot to take the advantage of what you say is creating that moat, if a vacuum has been created as well. So I'm just looking at your last point there about community engagement. I think it's probably quite pertinent to stay involved with your organisations such as Mackay Tourism, Chamber of Commerce. What do you mean by staying relevant? If you can just talk a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. So I suppose we've been in this COVID environment for 6-7 weeks now, and some people have gone, oh no, it's dire, and have pulled the roller door down and gone and stayed on the uncle's farm. Other people have stayed and trying to work themselves through. And this is to Judy's point about keeping your ear on the ground. I think now's not a time to be an ostrich and put your head in the sand. Now is a time to really keep your finger on the pulse, understand what the currents are, who's involved, where the opportunities are, and then be able to take advantage. When your competitor comes back and thinks it'll be back to normal in 1, 2, 3, 4 months, you're going to have the advantage because you've been there listening to the customer, understanding the environment technically, and ready to make a move, or you may have already built a relationship. You can build a game-changing relationship right now. Mm-hmm. In this difficult time. So to the point about community engagement and staying relevant means staying involved, just what we talked about, and keep engaging through social media, even if your doors are closed, even if you're a tourism operator now. Don't stop advertising on Google. Don't stop your Instagram posts. Keep yourself out there. Keep the communication coming. Keep the newsletters going. Don't be forgotten, because there's a genuine risk now. If you close it off, people might forget who you are, and competitors are going to move in. So it's about staying engaged, and it feels nice, and people are going to want to support businesses much. They understand businesses are struggling now. So if they can stay engaged or like your post or see that you're still moving, they it's a feel-good story. People like to get behind businesses, so it gives that chance. And to the point about community engagement, I'm going to use an example here. There's a pub that we work with in a remote area, and previously didn't do takeaway meals. It was just a daytime pub. All the 1 or 2 takeaway shops closed. The pub took it upon itself to start doing takeaway meals, and also start what was a quasi soup kitchen for those who were struggling, those in need. And the first night that they opened for meals and for the soup kitchen, they put 10 staff on, and an extra 5 turned up. They just wanted to come along and make sure that it worked okay. So there's your example of community engagement and staff engagement, and it's been kind. And people remember when the chips are down, who was kind, who was nice, who looked after me. And this is a really, really great time to build those strong relationships.
Yeah, I agree. And look, you may not be in the position where you can help out financially at all. I know for ourselves here at Shift, we've engaged a whole new market just by giving out a lot of free information, and people are looking for what to do and how to look after their staff and what to do financially with their business. And just being there and being in a position where we can offer enough free advice is a good thing for us too.
Absolutely. So.
Okay, so we're going to move on. Sorry, we're going to move on to partnerships and joint ventures.
Absolutely. So this follows on from competitors. Why go it alone? Maybe you've never considered partnering or joint venturing with anyone, but in this changed environment, maybe it's a catalyst to buddy up with someone. Maybe your competitor next door is now open to you going over there and working together. Maybe you can share some supply lines. Maybe you can share staff. Maybe you can share vehicles, or maybe it's a full partnership with someone in a different industry. Maybe you're a land-based tourism operator and you partner with a sea-based tourism operator, or maybe you're a hotel operation that hires vehicles all the time. Now you partner up with a bus operator. So this is a chance to, I suppose, step back and have a look at where can you create efficiencies for yourself. And we'll get on to costs in a minute, but really there's so many efficiencies that can be had by working with other people. I know there's competitive issues potentially there as well, but done in the right way, you can really save yourself a lot of money. You can, it's a 1 + 1 = 3 situation. You can leverage someone else's brand. There's lots of upsides, and hey, if you're in a small market or there's not too many players, you might even be able to corner a market, increase your margins. Thinking very capitalist here, but there's a chance there to really improve your business by partnering with others.
Yeah, cool. I like the symbiotic relationship, like accommodation and transport operators. They can work very well and can be cross-promoting each other to other operators as well. Okay, moving on to first mover advantage. Is that similar to the early adopters?
Very close. So hopefully everyone's heard of the first mover advantage. Normally this concept's used for a new business idea. Whoever's first to market generally captures the greater portion of the market, and everyone else is chasing them. So I'm using this term today because some businesses are starting all over again, or some businesses are partway starting again, and really it's a chance to maybe go back. And I myself as a business owner always go, oh, I wish I did this when I was starting, or I wish I did that. Now's really a chance to, if you're scaling back and starting again, to actually implement those things that you go, oh, I wish I did this, or now you do know, or you've seen it done better. So you can actually implement those items and improve your business. And I think the key thing here with the first mover advantage is, I touched on it before, is people's buying habits have been broken. So they're not always going to go down to the same coffee shop or the same mechanics or the same hairdressers because they've had a period of not being able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So really there's an opportunity here to attract those other customers, like we spoke about earlier.
And create new habits.
Exactly. People have been forced to change in this environment. Generally, it's easy not to change. No one likes change, but because we've been forced to change, people are forced to think differently, and they're more willing and open to new things now because they've been forced. So this is your opportunity to attract those new customers. You might have been chasing a customer for 20 years.
That sounds like stalking, Gus.
Kind of does. But now you can get that customer purely because their mindset's been changed. So really, it comes back to all the things we've talked about previously and setting yourself up for success.
Yeah, I like that. And really, when we look at changing habits, when we're forced to change habits, we're desperately looking for what's going to replace that habit. So it really is the prime time to jump in and see what you can do and what you can leverage off there as well. Okay, I'm going to move you on to reviewing all the expenses.
Exactly. So opposite of revenue that we started with here, we kind of touched on it last week, but I'm going to take a little bit further this week. We talked about reviewing expenses last week. Now I want to talk about, can you cut expenses out? Or more importantly, can you negotiate a lower rate? Maybe you've been with the same business, or you've got some of your same services or products from the same business for the last 5 years, whatever it is. Now's a chance to, I suppose, shop around.
Because that's the way we've always done it.
Exactly. So now's the time to change it up. You might be surprised. There might be new players that have come into the market since you were with that supplier or using that service, and now's those people may be offering something better, or something cheaper, or a superior service. Especially in this environment, people are going to be competing for customers a lot more. So go out there, have a chat to your suppliers. Say, can you do better on this? Have a shop around. Maybe some of your suppliers have closed and you can't get that item that you need or that service that you need. So really go
your
out there.
habits being changed now.
Absolutely. Exactly. Take advantage. Again, it's an opportunity. This is, how often do you sit back and shop around for your suppliers? Well, you just pay the bill when it rolls in at the end of the month, on and on and on. Now's a time, may have some downtime, really, look to change. Is there some way that we can benefit? And following on from that, you see there in the slide, it's, can you negotiate a deal? Can you do maybe your supplier is struggling? Can you help your supplier? Can you say, hey, I'll buy for you for 12 months rather than just 1 month? And I suppose support their business and they'll support you in the long term. Comes back to forming those partnerships. So, and that's same point about renegotiating. We're in a different environment. Can existing contracts be renegotiated to suit yourself?
What can they do for you, basically, is what you're saying?
Exactly right.
Yeah. So it's renegotiating. Okay, so your next slide just starts with what if.
What if? So what if? I know what if sounds a bit in the air. We don't know where we're going to be in the future. However, I think a good exercise for all business owners is to understand some of the key drivers that are going to affect their business or possibly affect their business in the next 6, 12 months, 1, 5, 10 years, and then try and understand how that's going to affect them and how they can position themselves to advantage, whether it does happen or doesn't happen. So I've given some examples down there. Everyone knows the JobKeeper. Is the JobKeeper going to run out in September, or are they going to lower it for some industries, or are they going to continue it in its current status past September?
What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are that obviously it's costing the government a lot of money, so they'll be keen to wean people off it as fast as they can. However, I don't think they'll totally wean struggling industries off. So I think most people will have the tap turned off in September, but possibly sectors such as international tourism, I imagine, may have a continued JobKeeper in some format, is my opinion. And for those who in Queensland, there's a state election coming up later in the year. What does that mean for your business? Without politicking too much,
No, politic away.
No, probably not doing politics today, Judy. But what could happen to your business either way, whichever government's in power? Border openings, we've talked about that. When's that going to happen? What's going to be the impact on your business? How can you take advantage? And then macro factors. And what I mean by macro factors, they're worldwide factors, variables that are playing out on a world stage. So, such as the oil price. You know, great time to be a transport operator if you've got a vehicle to move right now, because oil prices are at all-time lows. So, how does that affect your business? You know, are China supply lines going to be open? Does anyone buy goods from China? How does that affect your business? You know, is a trade war going to break out with Australia? Do you have a plan B? Can you get your goods from Vietnam? Thinking about these what ifs and just really positioning and protecting and understanding where your business is.
Okay, so that's quite a broad, but when you're talking about the what ifs, how do we factor them in? It's not enough to have it just scrambling around in our head. How do you factor them in? Are they in a spreadsheet? Are they in your business plan?
Sure, Judy. Both is the answer there. Ideally in a business plan.
Or all three scrambled in your head as well?
Yeah, scrambled in the head. Look, I'm not against scrambled in the head, but I normally work in dollar terms. So if you've got an Excel, you might be able to understand, you know, especially for JobKeeper, that's going to be turned off in September. How does that affect your expenses, your staff expenses, your bottom line? But then also building that into your business plan. What does that mean? Does that mean that you have to cut staff numbers, or you won't be able to do X service or product? Or does it mean you can ramp up if, you know, the border openings happen? You know, when's that going to happen? Am I going to, you know, do I need to put more staff on ready to go for that? So both is the answer, Excel and business plans, ideally.
Okay, cool. Okay, now we're going to wrap it up with my favourite topic, which is people.
I'll put this in just for Judy, okay? So people are the most important thing in business. And look, now is really a time, in my opinion, to connect with your people and really, you know, if you look after your people now and they look after you, you can. This is, you know, once in a generation opportunity to really form such a strong bond with people in the business that this can set you up and be a competitive advantage for the next decade. So, I suppose the fourth point there about understanding individual motivators and their connection to the business, and the fifth point about engaging with your staff who have gone around and spoken to staff individually and understand their situation, what motivates them, why they love working at your business, and really engaging and making sure that they're heard and they understand the situation and they're comfortable and they can really build on where their situation is and how you're engaged with them.
Yeah, totally all down with the people sector, aren't you?
Absolutely.
For a finance boffin.
Oh, thank you very much.
So I just wanted to go a little bit more on the people side of that.
Yep.
When you talked about understanding the individual motivators, just for everyone, there's three main factors when we're looking at motivation in our team. The first one is to make them feel valued. The second one is to make them feel like they make a difference. And the third one is development, whether it's professional, personal, even knowing more tomorrow than what we do today. Now, when we're in the middle of a crisis type situation, such as the COVID-19 that's extending for so long, this is actually in creating the perfect environment for you to leverage the motivation level in your people. So giving them the platform to be heard, making them feel valued, giving them the platform to show how they're going to help you through this period, making them feel like they truly make a difference. And they will be making a difference for you. And as we mentioned before, if you can tap into upskilling people cheaply or for free, you go on the third motivator, which is development. So you're ticking all boxes. When you're bringing people back into the workplace, give them a platform to be heard. You know, we talked at the very first seminar about, yes, we may all be in the same storm, but we're definitely in different boats. So allowing them to talk about the boat they've been in for the past month, it's going to look very, very different. The people who've been left in the workplace are stressed already because they thought that they were going to have home time or family time. The people that come back are going to be pointing the finger at that person. How come you were the one left here standing and were paid all throughout? There's so many different factors going on. So that old adage that we used to say, you know, park your shit at the door and come into work and leave everything else out emotional outside. It doesn't work anymore. Once people come back into your workplace during this whole event, they're going to be bringing that baggage in with them, and we have to acknowledge it. So being able to acknowledge it, hear it out, and then we all start and hit the reset button again is a really good motivator. And like Gus said before, you're going to start creating those really good connections where if you've got the right team in place, they're going to be a team almost for life. They're going to stick with you for a very long time.
How good's that? And I might just add one more thing on your people. Due to the COVID environment, there might be some really quality people out there now that may not have employment or a business to belong to. So I know most people aren't hiring at the moment, but just keep your ear to the ground. There may be some fantastic people out there that want to find a business and connect with you and create an opportunity. And wow, wouldn't it be great to be able to get some high quality employees into your business now and build that goodwill? They will thank you forever for giving them a job right at the bottom of a recession. So also keep that in mind.
Yeah, and one little key there, if you are onboarding in this period, the most important thing you look for is to ensure their values are aligned with yours. We can skill anyone up, but we can't change what they value and what they believe in. So just make sure in that onboarding process that you're really honing in on their values to see that they're aligned with yours. Okay, there's two comments that I just wanted to draw your attention to. The first one, Melissa said, Energy Australia are negotiating great prices for our electricity.
Thank you, Energy Australia, for the plug, Melissa. Cheers.
And she's also said it's so hard to estimate revenue. So how do we estimate profitability against the expenses?
Okay, so I think we touched on this in last week's session, Melissa. I think we talked about understanding what's your minimum viable profit that you can, minimum viable expenses that you can operate on. So I know revenue is unknown, but we can have a fair idea what our expenses are. So if you calculate what's the expenses that you can just operate at, or what are the expenses when you're operating at 20% or 50% of your normality, then you can put that. Obviously you can't get a profitability if you don't have any revenue. So work on your expenses and be really know your expenses. And then it's going to cost me $5,000 each month to keep the doors open or operate. Then if I don't open for 6 months, it's going to cost me $30,000. So then at least you've got in your mind and you can focus your decision making based on your expenses because your revenue is not known. Hopefully that helps.
Straight over my head. Okay, we're going to wrap it up. Unless anyone else has any more questions, we're going to thank you once again for your time. We understand that time's very precious at the moment. Just wanted to take you back to what Chrissy said at the very start about the mentoring program. She's got a bucket of money there. So if you need to reach out and talk to any of us here at Shift, we have 4 different specialists. You've also got the opportunity to talk to all 4 of us together. We serve almost like a specialist advisory body as well, but you can reach out to any of us singularly. Myself, I'm leadership and culture specialist. I deal a lot with personality type and how we would be managing stress throughout this period with your teams. Leadership, turning managers into leader, and your workplace culture. That's my specialty. Gus, we already know what his is, anything to do with facts, figures and numbers. We have Alita, who is our producer today, and she is the HR and performance specialist. So anything to do with HR, very good at automating your business as well. So if you're looking for streamlining, anything to do with HR processes, policies, procedures, what manuals do you need, anything like that, she's the guru on that. And then we also have Lee Porter, who is a strategy and agility specialist. Very, very good at thinking outside the box. So if you're looking for scalability, franchises, how do we pivot, how do we change this up and turn it on its head, both Lee and Gus are very good at that as well. So reach out to Chrissy. Like I said, she's got a bucket of funding there. Thank you once again to the Local Buying Foundation for their help and support. And we are going to sign off. Thank you once again, Gus. Hope to see you again in another one of these webinars.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.